Hopper, and today I'm joined here in the studio by DJ and producer Scarlett Etienne to get an insight into some of the techniques that she uses to put together playlists and mixes for the catwalk shows of some of the world's most respected fashion houses. So whether it's DJing in underground clubs like the Watergate in Berlin or the Nest here in London, playing keys with Nile Rodgers and Johnny Marr, or curating the music for high-end fashion shows, Scarlett has most definitely established herself as a major player on the international DJ circuit. Scarlett also sings and produces. She's recently been featured on Errol Alkan's fantasy label as the voice of Daniel Avery's The Eagle, and has remixed for ultra-cool Parisian label Kitsune. So we're here to get an insight into the techniques that she uses to put together the soundtrack for high-end fashion shows using Ableton Live. It's also, for all of you guys at home, it's your chance to ask any questions, so get posting in the chat room and we will try and get through everything before the end of the session. So yeah, welcome along, Scarlett.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
No problem at all. Just before we get into the session itself, I thought it'd be good to find out, how you originally got into the world of fashion and how, you came to curate the soundtrack for the shows like Matthew Williamson.
Oh, right. Well, I'm not really in the fashion world, but I just sort of, I come from the underground. I've been playing house and techno for a few years now, and I met Matthew through my best friend Estella, and I have done quite a few musical projects for the fashion world, fashion films, for example, and I've done other catwalk shows as well. But I met Matthew, and we immediately became really good friends, and he invited me to play his party at the Tate Modern Museum when he had his show there. Jerry Bouthier did the show music, and I played the after party upstairs. So yeah, that was amazing, and since then I've been doing a lot of his events, whether it be an event for the store, like his mom's birthday, or his after parties for his fashion shows. Yeah, I've basically been his go-to woman for music. So it's been really great working with him, and he finally asked me to do the show music for the last collection at the Royal Opera House, which was amazing. And,
yeah, pretty amazing venue as well.
Yeah, I know. So it was really great to play in such an amazing, iconic venue. So that's what I'm going to demonstrate here for you today.
And are you wearing any Matthew today at all?
I was. I'm sweating like a whore in church, so I had to take it off. But here, I just put it here for you to look at. Oh, and these are Matthew as well.
So, when a project like this comes about, to work on a catwalk show, is it the case that the designer comes to you with a kind of specific goal in mind, or is it more collaborative from the start?
Yeah, it was very much collaborative. I find that whenever I do projects for fashion, they're actually more intensive than doing something like a remix, for example, which is like it's a lot more time consuming. They're a lot more demanding. But I very much enjoy doing it. So, but yeah, when Matthew first spoke to me about doing the music, the first thing was he sent me a mood board.
Okay.
And he sent me this story about the collection, which was it went something like it's a British girl who grew up in the countryside, but she's very rock and roll. She's very British, and she loves she loves her rose prints and. Let's see. I have some notes here. Oh yeah, so she embarks on a journey traveling north, and as she goes more north, she gets blinded by the northern lights.
Right.
And the weather gets colder, and in the end, she's like hypnotized by the lights, and it's a really fantastic journey. So
you've got a kind of narrative to work from already, I guess.
Yeah. And I can actually I can show you. Yeah, so that's the mood board that Matthew sent me.
So at this point, I guess, do you have tracks in mind already, or?
Well, basically, what happened is I sent him a load of tracks. About something like 40 tracks to listen to.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
As a playlist on a loop, like over the holidays, when he didn't really have a whole lot of, didn't have to be in the office so often. And then we narrowed it down to about 10 tracks. Oh, actually, yeah, in the beginning it was, about 10. And it changed a lot.
Yeah.
We went back and forth on a lot of things, depending on it, if it fit or not. But and we got up on the right foot actually, because the the one thing that I was hoping for was that there's a song called by The Shoes.
Right.
And I was like, well, I really wanted him to use that song, and that's like one of the first things that he said. He was like, oh, I really love this song, and I want this song to feature heavily. So I was just like, go.
So you got off to a good start straight away.
Yes, it was really good. So the track listing goes something like this. We wanted to start out with the chromatics.
Okay.
The Bruce Springsteen cover of I'm on Fire. But it's quite mellow, so I wanted to pick it up a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and play that. There's a song called Send Me Down by Haim. Really beautiful song. Haim have amazing drums. I'm obsessed with drums. Obsessed. And so what I did is I actually cut the drums from the beginning of that song, and I used it as like a cohesive theme, like throughout the whole track. I bring them in and out.
Okay.
So
you have something that gels together throughout.
Yeah, so that's sort of like what I use to gel the entire thing together.
Yeah.
And it sort of, when you hear them, it sort of makes me think of something quite tribal, northern, like...
And it sets a tone right from the start.
Inuits, like in the snow, like dancing around a fire. That's what it made me think about. So, can I have more volume? I can't hear. I'm a DJ. I'm a bit deaf. So, thank you. Obviously, like for timing and everything, you don't want to really leave anything in more than like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
I think is probably the longest that I let any track play for. This is where I started with the Shoes drums. So I did a lot of like cutting drums from tracks.
Right.
So I cut the intro from the Shoes song, Crack My Bones, which is the song that I really wanted to feature heavily in the track. So yeah, I just let it. I just looped these for a bit because I wanted something a little bit more percussive.
And so you're already bringing in the second track?
Yes, already. Because if you listen to just that by itself, it's quite mellow.
Yeah.
And you want something that Cara Delevingne can have a nice stomp around to, I was so happy to see her on the runway. She's my favorite model. So should I fast forward it a bit?
Yeah. And how about you just fading out with the automation there?
Yeah, lots of automation. I'm quite proud of this transition because it's it's very like in key.
Yeah.
That's one of the things when you're doing a fashion show or anything like a DJ mix, a radio show, anything. You just want to make sure that things are in key.
Yeah.
You want it to sound nice. So. Yeah.
And again, it's that cohesive feel throughout, isn't it? If it's always mixed in key.
Yeah. So this is where I started to fade out the chromatics.
And in terms of the timing
Not a whole
as well.
lot of people can pull off a Bruce Springsteen.
In terms of the timing, are you looking at the show itself?
The strings, you gotta hear the strings. Okay, I'm done now.
What I was going to ask is when you're looking at the transitions, the timing, are you looking at the models and what's going on in the show? Is that a consideration?
Right. Well, see, the thing is like, that's sort of up to Matthew. He knows like what looks are going to be first, like what model's going to be out on the runway first, and it doesn't always go according to plan.
Yeah.
So I think he was quite meticulous about like what order he wanted the songs to be in, but it did come to a point where I had to be like, okay, Matthew, I can't mix Solange into Matthew Dear's Deserter because Deserter is like 135 BPM because Matthew Dear is so edgy. And, Solange is like, I don't know, how fast is Losing You? Like 80?
Yeah, so
like
R&B 80,
so
70 or something, yeah.
Does not compute. So, there was a lot of moving stuff around.
Right.
Because, I've been to fashion shows before where, the music is just sort of like sewn together. There's no transition. And I just wanted to make something that was, that had like a really good flow to it. But that also fit the collection. But Matthew was basically he's the one who said that these songs need to be in this order.
Okay.
Oh, I wanted to use the Stone Roses, and I'm sure you know the song, I Want to Be Adored by the Stone Roses.
Of course. Yeah.
So I did a re-edit of the song. I used Native Instruments Machine, which I adore. I didn't bring it with me today, but you can see all of this here.
So you're layering up underneath the track, the original?
Yes. Can you guys hear that? Because I can't hear.
Yeah, give it slightly more volume.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's really amazing what like a kick and a few hi-hats will do to a song.
Yeah, most definitely.
But it just picked it up a lot. And whenever I do things like this, what I'll do is I'll just like, you know, bring a filter in and just like filter out the bass just a little bit so that you can put stuff on top of it.
Yeah.
For example, that's it soloed. And then yeah, so I just let that play.
And is that something you do a lot? You know, re-editing and layering up on tunes?
Yes,
yeah.
a lot. Even just for like my own DJ stuff as well.
Yeah. I mean, this is quite a good one for the DJ set, right?
Yeah. Well, so this one goes into a Patti Smith song. She did a cover of Nirvana's "Smells Like Teen Spirit."
Yeah.
Do you know it?
Yes, of course.
And you know, actually, I didn't choose that. Matthew actually chose that, and I was just like, that's not one of the songs that I sent him to begin with, and I was just like.
Well,
if I had known that you would have wanted to put that, I would have sent that to you in the first place. But yeah, I was really happy that he chose that because I love Patti Smith, and I think it really matched the close of the collection really well. So, do you want to see some photos from the actual show?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's one of his sketches. You know, very wintry.
And is this something that you get privileged to before the show? I guess you get to see parts of the collection and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, I was able to go into his atelier like when we were doing the music. I had this. Have you heard of the Jam Box by Jawbone? Have you heard of those?
No.
Oh right. So I just brought one into Matthew's office and just like stuck it in the middle of the table, and I was like, right, we're gonna jam out right now. We're gonna listen to some music. And so they were able to show me some of the collection while we went through tracks.
Okay.
And, you know, sort of finalizing everything.
Yeah.
We're at 10 minutes and 15 here. I think the show lasted about 9 minutes.
Okay.
So, we used Boys Noise Trick Pony, the Charlotte Gainsbourg Boys Noise remix of Trick Pony for the finale.
Yeah.
So I just like cut it and then brought that track in, as opposed to just mixing it. But I
So
wanted
that's for Impact, I take it, or
for Impact. And then you know Matthew comes out and says hello and.
You take a bow.
No, I didn't take a bow. I was stuck in the sound booth up there, so nobody could see me. I was like, I'm not in the front row where Vogue could take my photo for the blog, you know. Yeah, number one, use cohesive themes, just like the collection, because you know the fashion collections always have like a cohesive theme. And, you know, this one was a very wintry collection.
Yeah.
It was, you know, lots of very thick fabrics, jewels, you know, sort of like the Northern Lights. So that's why I wanted to use the Haim drums as
the drums definitely seem to me to be the kind of theme that runs throughout, I guess, and the kind of slightly sultry vocals, you know, throughout as well.
Yeah, I like a good female vocal actually. Yeah. So, and number two would be, 1 second. Oh yeah, you have to. I'm going to tell you a funny story. Okay. Yeah. The second rule is. Be prepared for change and be prepared to start over again and save your sessions in as versions, and whenever you send a draft to a designer, make sure that version matches the Ableton session, because I did something really stupid and I saved over a version, and then you know Matthew was like, okay, well let's go back to this version, and I was like, I don't have that version anymore.
And I guess that's good advice throughout, right? You know, that's good advice for any kind of project.
Well, just save different versions. You know, you're not taking up any extra space in your computer. Just save extra versions. And be prepared to start all over again. Be prepared to if you work on something for a few hours, be prepared to just kiss it goodbye. Because basically, we were searching for this elusive finale, and. You can't even imagine, like the lead up to the show, I was DJing everywhere. I was DJing for Raw in Utrecht in the Netherlands, and so I took a little excursion to Amsterdam to partake in some culture. And so I went to a coffee shop and partook of some of this culture. And I canceled all of my evening plans, and I went back to my hotel room, and I was having like I was really in the zone, and I was like, ooh, I know, and I was like, I spent literally like 6 or 8 hours on this Woodkid re-edit with like these crazy Brazilian drums, and it was really epic. You can hear it, it's actually coming in right now. And I was like, and I sent this really passionate email, and I was like, yes, this is what we're going to use for the finale. It's going to be amazing. And on Tuesday, he was just like, no.
Point blank, no.
Yeah. So, but then I put Bjork's remix, Bjork's voice on top of it. I found this acapella, and I put her voice on top of it. And he preferred it, and he said, okay, well, you can play it at the end. After the finale, and I was like, okay, that's a good compromise.
So Amsterdam was well spent.
Yeah, it was all right. But I had this, visualization that I would be able to use that song as the finale, and it didn't quite work out. But I actually prefer that we used Charlotte Gainsbourg instead. But yeah, just don't get too attached to your work. And at the end of the day, it's always the designer's decision.